Welcome to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric and this is the Volkswagen Touareg R. Gone is the monstrous diesel V8 and instead there's this, the hybrid. Truthfully, the old R was never meant to last. A huge polluting V8 would never survive, and Volkswagen is quietly phasing it out in order to reduce their CO2 emissions, even though it was hugely profitable, with official numbers starting at 3 liters per 100 kilometer and up to 69 grams of CO2 per kilometer, meaning no huge environment taxes, at least in Sweden. It seems that Volkswagen has been able to cheat the system with this new Touareg R. Great then, but the big question is the new hybrid system as smooth, refined and quick as the beef engine it replaces? Because from the look of it, this looks exactly like the previous R. Massive, angular, chunky grille with LED matrix lights, which actually comes as standard. Optional 21-inch Suzuka black rims, the deep black pearl paint, and the Audi-esque rear. Everything feels quite similar. It's a bit deja vu, but in a good way. The whole car has really grown on me. And even though the Touareg is a massive car, it is the same size and basically the same car as the Audi Q7. The Touareg looks more poised and not as towering. It has more of an understated look rather than trying to look as massive as it possibly can. Even though it clearly has some aggressive lines. I mean, it is an R after all. Also, you can see that that's a real exhaust. The middle part is the real exhaust and then you have some add-ons around. I mean, acceptable. And the eHybrid. One of the big questions is always with a hybrid, how's the rear compartment? Because in the old R, call it old, it's not old, but this is the new one and the V8 TDI was the old one. There have been some intrusions to the rear compartment before. This was not up, this was down a bit. The car comes as standard with air suspension, so you can lower the ride height and you can increase the ride height, because underneath there's batteries. This is the extra amount of space that you have in the rear. The base, dyno audio, but where can you put your charging cables? This is a problem for me because I can't charge at home, so I can't have the cables at home. But if you want to drive around with the cables, they need to be in the rear or somewhere around the car. And if they are in the rear, they will slide around a lot. This is also fitted with the towing package, and it can tow up to 3,500 kilograms, which is huge. Even in pure electric, but in this car pure electric is the E mode, and I'll go into more about all the different modes. But in Sweden you won't be able to tow that much, because this car weighs about 2.5 tons, which is roughly similar to the V8 TDI Volkswagen Touareg R. In Sweden at least, the standard driver's license, the maximum weight of the car that you're driving and what you tow is 3.5 tons. So even though you can tow 3.5 tons, because the car weighs 2.5 tons, you can only tow 1,000 kilograms. And don't forget, you yourself weigh something, and maybe you have some friend that weighs something, and then being able to tow so much in this car on a standard driver's license, difficult, but it's possible. Of course, electric operated boot, and always we need to check the seating position. Of course there would be a problem if I couldn't fit here, and I can fit, so that's good. The panoramic sunroof often helps increase head space. Okay, knee space. I would want some more knee space for this huge car. A lot of foot space. And also, even though I try to sit as straight as I can, I would like some more thigh support or lower thigh support. You can see this diamond stitching. The Touareg R is a about angles, and I think that the interior complements the exterior quite well. They both go hand in hand with the symmetry of the angular style. I think it looks really nice. And we'll go into the driver's seat. These doors are heavy, but they are fitted with soft close. Also really nice. The R logo. The interior has seen some minor tweaks. The new steering wheel, which is not that usable with the haptic controls, although the steering wheel in its entirety looks really good. Diamond stitching, and with the optional Puglia lever, which I haven't been able to option out on the Swedish Volkswagen configurator, you get blue stitching instead of gray. And of course you have the R logo. The seats are actually optioned with massage. So there's the button here, I can show you. Here is the button for the massage. In general, all of the updates have greatly improved the look of the cabin, but the large use of dull grey plastics at some parts is still a minus in my book. The 12-inch digital gauge cluster is mostly unchanged, and so is the massive 15-inch infotainment screen. I must actually revise my previous statement of the advantages of a large screen. Yes, the sub-menus are less, but the logic of the infotainment system is not that good. The home menu looks also a bit outdated. I still have the problem with the car turning the volume down when I pair my phone with the car and use Spotify or something. This car is optioned with Dyne Audio, I hope I pronounced it right. 780 watt sound system, and it sounds really good. Maybe not as powerful and as controlled as some of the other options, such as the Bars & Vehicles, Bang & Olufsen, but this sounds more powerful down low. At the doors is just plastic, and it would be nice that they just fit some metal around here. Even though it has a hybrid system and 4Motion 4-wheel drive, which I'll get into later, the drive shaft tunnel is not that large, so it can actually fit fairly comfortable in the middle seat. Alright, we've come to the driving part. It has 340 horsepower, and the electric engine has 136 horsepower. However, the combined output is a bit lower, with 462 horsepower and 700 Newton meters. And that makes the car go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.1 seconds, which is no slouch since this car weighs 2.5 tons. You can drive this car in pure electric or E-mode up to 140 kilometers an hour, or 135 depending on which Volkswagen site you're on and reading. The battery is 14.1 kilowatt hours, and the electric range is supposed to be 47 kilometers. Using this round dial, you can choose between Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sport, Individual, Off-road and Snow. Let's start with Eco. If I had a very low battery, I could choose the maximum here, and the petrol engine which will work as a generator. It will use more gas, but it is nice to be able to have more control over the electric hybrid system. We'll start driving now. And we'll go into comfort and set this part. So you can see that it will allow the battery to discharge to this level. But if I sit to the higher level, it will start to work as a generator. You can see the petrol engine go on and off. This is a heavy car with a powerful hybrid system. The combined power plant, it feels like a train going forward. The surge of energy that is never stops, and the gear shifts are so smooth. The biggest quality of the Touareg is how it uses its size and weight to its advantage. It feels like driving a train and nothing can stop it. The air suspension is amazing and just irons out the road. It truly feels like a luxury vehicle. The Touareg R uses a permanent 4-motion 4-wheel drive system, but also has a differential between the front and rear axle to distribute the power. 70% of the power can go to the front and 80% can go to the rear. However, even though this has 4-motion 4-wheel drive and is able to vary the power, to be able to get the most of the R experience, you have to put the ESC system into sport or turn it completely off. Because if you don't, the traction control is way too intrusive and tries to cut power every time it thinks that you will lose traction. And you can also turn the car in manual, and you have pedals behind the steering wheel with like a bit larger pedals, maybe the same as in the Golf R, like so. Let's see if I can. Don't get me wrong, this is fast. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5 seconds is no joke. But because it is so big and because the power delivery is so smooth, it feels undramatic, and the air suspension just works its magic. And even I'm in sport, the floatiness that comes with the air suspension is still there. So I would like an R mode to be able to bump up the stiffness in the air suspension just a bit more. Compared to the old Touareg R, this feels faster up top. So what about the complete R experience then? Has it improved or gotten worse with the hybrid system? It doesn't feel slower than the V8 TDI, and that's thanks to the quite powerful electric engine that delivers instant torque and fills in the gaps from the petrol engine. But there has been times when the gearbox and the petrol and the electric engine is not working together. And the only way of driving this car fast and efficiently is to put it into sport, deactivate the ESC system, and use manual mode. And to conclude, the new Volkswagen Touareg R hybrid is still as capable while being massively cheaper to own. The base price is around 84,000 euros. This car costs around 97,000 euros. That means that it is expensive, but has all the qualities of being an interesting option at that price point. The Touareg R is my guilty pleasure SUV. It's powerful, it's fast, but it's also economical in regards to fuel if you can charge at home. I am a estate sedan type of guy, and personally I think that luxury vehicles are those classic sedan, long wheelbase cars, such as the S-Class, such as the 7 Series, such as the A8 from Audi. But Touareg R has broadened my view and broadened my horizons, and I get the appeal with a huge SUV sitting high up, having a powerful engine, being in some ways disconnected while still being there. Would I call this, I mean, R worthy? Is the R badge a bit of trying to upsell the Touareg? Maybe. I would like some more pressure, some more stiffness from the air suspension. And I mean, since it is air suspension, it is inherently quite disconnected from everything. The new hybrid system is more of a complete and economical package than the V8 TDI was. And that's my final review for the Volkswagen Touareg R. See you next time.